Month of May, the year 2026. This is a live broadcast of the Senate proceedings, streaming from the Senate chambers, Parliament buildings. And it is a broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. A warm welcome to you, and we are glad that you are joining us for these proceedings that are about to begin. Currently on your screens, that is inside the Senate chambers. Already we can see members of the Senate having already made their way into the House. More members should also be coming into the House. And of course, in a short while, we should also be seeing the Speaker's procession also making its way into the House, of course, for the House to be able to commence the business that is lined up for consideration this afternoon. However, as we wait for all that and as we wait for 2:30, we shall take a look at the business that the members of the Senate, as they convene for this plenary sitting this afternoon, shall be transacting. There is a bill. You understand that this is the budget cycle process, and the budget is just around the corner. That will be coming up in the month of June. So there are a number of bills that are linked to the budget process that are being processed. And this afternoon, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, a bill that is originating from the Senate, Bill number 10 of 2026, is a bill that is lined up for consideration. This bill is coming up for first reading. A bill that is sponsored by the Chairperson Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. This is a bill that basically seeks to provide for the equitable allocation of revenue raised nationally among the county governments for the financial year 2026-2027. Remember, this financial year, that is the 2025-2026, is coming to an end, and the beginning of the next financial year. So these are bills that are coming to legislate what should be done for the matters finances, both at the county and the national level. So this is a county allocation of revenue bill, a bill, or it is a law that is used in Kenya to determine how nationally raised revenue will be shared among the county governments for a specific financial year. In this case, we're looking at the 2026-2027 financial year. The money allocated is divided equitably among the 47 county governments in the country. And in this financial year, the next financial year, the county of Nairobi, that is the county of Nairobi City, will be receiving the lion's share at about 23 billion Kenya shillings, followed by Nakuru County at around 15 billion Kenya shillings. We shall take a look at some of the other allocations in the other county governments. But this particular bill seeks to give effect to articles of the Constitution, which requires that Parliament shall pass a law annually on the county allocation, and some of the formula that will be used, or the factors that are being used in the formula that allocates the monies to the county government equitably, includes population, also the poverty levels, the land area or the geographical size, the basic equal share, as well as development needs that each county has, so the counties receive their resources fairly. That is a bill that is coming up for first reading, and then later on it will be moving into the committee stage or public participation before it comes back into the House for consideration. That is debate, and in case there are any amendments that may be moved therein, then can be considered later on at the committee of the whole. Remember, the Senate has proposed a total of 154 billion Kenya shillings to be shared among the devolved units. At the far end of the red carpet aisle, we can already see the Speaker's procession having started its way into the chamber. This signals that the House is about to start its sitting. That is the plenary sitting. That is the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Kathuri Murungi. He is making his way into the House to preside over this afternoon sitting. The mess is just right ahead of him that symbolizes the authority of the House, the power. You will now allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amina. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
So the prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, there is a quorum hitch. So the Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes as more members make their way into the House to enable the House attain the much-needed quorum. Standing order number 39 indicates that at least 15 senators should be in the House for the House to be deemed to have quorated. However, if that is not present, then standing order number 40 provides that the quorum bell shall be on, of course, to give room to the members of the Senate to be able to join their colleagues. And that is why we are seeing more members making their way into the House. And of course, in a short while, that quorum will be raised and the House shall commence. So as we wait for that, we shall continue to take a look at the business that they will be transacting this afternoon. The Select Committee on Delegated Legislation, chaired by the Honorable Senator for Tharaka Nithi, Honorable Mwenda Gataya, shall this afternoon seek for the extension of the consideration of the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026, the Traffic Drink Driving Rules 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority Operation of Commercial Vehicles Regulation 2026, an extension of these particular rules for a further 21 days. So this afternoon, the Senate, pursuant to the sections 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, shall regard this particular request by the committee to have its time to consider the statutory instrument by a period not exceeding 21 days of the calendar days. And these are, as I had read out to you, the consideration of the Traffic School Transport Rules, Legal Notice number 11 of 2026, the Traffic Drink Driving Rules, Legal Notice number 12 of 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, legal notice number 13 of 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority operation of commercial vehicles regulations 2026, legal notice number 14 of 2026 for further 21 calendar days to enable the committee to conclude its consideration on or before the Tuesday of 23rd June 2026. The committee had indicated or had backed up its request that it requires additional time to be able to hold meetings with key stakeholders, including the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport. So that is a motion that will be moved by the Chairperson, Select Committee on Delegated Legislation, to have the House resolve that its time for consideration of these statutory instruments be extended for a further 21 days for them to be able to conclude on this particular matter and table its report before the House. This afternoon also, 2 bills are lined up for consideration at the division stage. Debate on these bills were concluded on the floor of the House. You will recall the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly, had its debate continue during the Wednesday afternoon sitting, and it was concluded this afternoon. Its business or the matter that will be worked on regarding this particular bill is considering it at the division stage, that is for the bill to be read a second time and move on to the next stage. This is a government-sponsored bill, so it is co-sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader, Honorable Aaron Cheriot. We have seen him in the chamber already. The Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill. This is a bill that is originating from the Senate and sponsored by the Honorable Senator for Meru County, the Deputy Speaker, who's Honorable Kathuri Murungi. And it is also a bill that is lined up for consideration at the division stage. Remember, this afternoon, the senators will be proceeding on a short recess after the business of the House is done. Allow me to hand you over to the business of the House.
Quorum. So, Clerk, you can lead out the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Sorry, let me make this communication first before we proceed. Order, senators. Senator Mgatana. Senators, can you find your way to your seats? Even the nearest one. No, there is no specific seat for any senator. Yes, please go sit. Senator Matinga. Honorable Senators, I have 2 communications to make at this juncture. One is on a visiting delegation from the National Assembly of Gambia. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of a visiting delegation from the National Assembly of Gambia, comprising members of the Select Committee on Environment, Sustainable Development, and NGO Affairs and its Secretariat. The delegation is in the Senate for a benchmarking visit. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that you can be acknowledged in the Senate rendition. One, Honorable Yaya Gasama, who is the leader of the delegation and Chairperson, Select Committee on Environment, Sustainable Development, and NGO Affairs. 2, Honorable Esa Conte, who is the Vice Chairperson. Honorable Kebalang Fofana, member. Honorable Tasmil Cham, member. Honorable Omal Jobe, member. Honorable Famala Sabali, member. Honorable Saiku Ba, member. Honorable Haluna Bali, a member of the committee, and Honorable Ngibi Mbaro, member. Also, you have Mr. Mamadou A.M. Ba, Senior Committee Clerk, Ms. Isatu Sonko, Committee Clerk, Mr. Lamin M. Diba, Principal Draftsman, Mr. Modika Ba, Research Officer, Ms. Lamatule Jawo, Assistant Communication Officer, Mr. Bakari Jame, Protocol Officer, Ms. Sarah Jane Hamed, who is the Managing Director of the Climate Vulnerable Forum and the Vulnerable Group of 20 Finance Ministers. Mr. Yusuf Hussein Yusuf, Director, Region Officer for Africa. And last but not the least, Ms. Rachel Mundilo, Deputy Director for Parliaments. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation, and I wish you a fruitful visit. Thank you. Honorable Senators, you can proceed to seats. Request the leader of the majority party in the Senate or the majority coalition in not more than in 2 minutes can also welcome the delegation from Gambia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I join you on behalf of my colleagues to welcome the guests, visiting members of Parliament and their staff from the Parliament of the Republic of Gambia. Mr. Speaker, who I believe, like you've communicated, are here on a study tour and have interacted with quite a number of our staff. And I believe probably if they haven't, they soon will with some of the members of this House. Mr. Speaker, I do hope that in their interaction, they will extend an invitation. Because one of the biggest tragedies of us parliamentarians in this House, Mr. Speaker, is that there are so many people who can point out to you streets by name in the posh capitals of the world, but know very little about Africa. Mr. Speaker, I look forward to passing a report here on a visit to a country such as Gambia, because there's a lot that we can learn from each other as African nations, as opposed to some of these established republics and cities that members of parliament are fond of frequenting. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I hope this visit of our colleagues from the Parliament of Gambia will result or yield a reciprocative visit by different members of the committee. And I would wish to be part and parcel because, unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I have never been to that country yet. I know quite a few things about it. Mr. Speaker, they had a maverick for our president in His Excellency Yahya Jammeh, who unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, lost the election. But they have brought an even more able president who recently visited with us. And I was really impressed by his understanding on African issues and what he's doing for his people. We wish them well during their stay, and I hope they will enjoy and get to interact with Nairobi at its best. The only complaint I have about them, Mr. Speaker, is that the last time the Gambia national football team visited here, the forward from Brighton FC, Yakuba Minte, destroyed our defense, Mr. Speaker, and I felt very bad about it, Mr. Speaker. But nonetheless, you are welcome to the Parliament of Kenya. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very majority leader, but I think you should not complain, but really compliment them that they have a strong team, and we should learn from them as the Harambee Stars. Senate Minority Leader. Just you can freeze and then we can make progress, but proceed to your seat. Honorable Senators, I have another communication. on visiting delegation of teachers and students from Kericho Day Secondary School in Kericho County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of a visiting delegation of 5 teachers and 73 students from Kericho Day Secondary School in Kericho County. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. So, Senator Chalage, you're out of order. Do you think the chair does not recognize that the majority leader, the Honorable Senator Aaron Cheruiyot, who doubles as the majority leader in this House? So you should be actually on your feet welcoming Kericho County, because Kericho Day Secondary School, because this is where the majority leader comes from. So majority leader, I welcome you, the team from Kericho. Proceed, and I welcome the students from Kericho Day Secondary School.
Mr. Speaker, I welcome the students from Kericho Day Secondary School. This is one of the largest day schools that we have in Kericho County, and it's a school that has been there for quite a while. Mr. Speaker, these students are welcome. I hope they get to interact with as many members as possible. Certainly, the Senator will spare a minute or two to walk to the back of the chamber should the business of the day ease a bit. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, currently in my office, I have a staffer by the name Lillian, who's an alumni of this school. I hope, Mr. Speaker, because I know she's watching, that she will also find time to welcome these students and inspire them. I wish you well as you travel around the city and as you travel back home. Pass my regards to your parents. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, today we have enough visitors visiting the Senate. So just relax and so that we welcome all of them. Honorable Senators, this is another communication on visiting delegation from the Interparliamentary Union, IPU. Honorable Senators, as you may recall, on Wednesday, 5th May 2026, I convened a communication regarding the regional seminar for African parliaments on climate action themed Reducing Methane, Promoting Development. In line with this seminar, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of a visiting the three delegates who are facilitating the above mentioned or a Serene Hotel in Nairobi from Friday 15th to Saturday 16th May 2026. Honorable Senators, I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that they may be acknowledged as per the Senate tradition. 1, Ms. Alexandra Blagojevic, IPU Program Manager for International Development and End of Delegation. 2, Dr. Holly Schofield, PhD, Global Project Lead, IPU Methane Project. 3, Mr. Alex Ogutu, who is the Africa Regional Focal Point, IPU Methane Project. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation. I also take this opportunity to remind honorable senators to attend and actively participate in the seminar. And the seminar is on the 15th and the 16th of May 2026. For those who are not attentive, I thank you. The venue is a Mara or a Serene Hotel in Nairobi. You know it is, Senator Chalagay? So, because I know in this house we have members who have been actively participating in IPU activities, I want to welcome Senator Catherine Muma to welcome the delegation on behalf of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Senate of Kenya and on behalf of the delegations that have been attending the IPU meetings, I wish to welcome our team from IPU to Kenya and to the Senate in particular. I want to thank the IPU team for the opportunity you provide for members of this Senate to learn a lot from other parliaments. Out of the 183 parliaments, there is a lot that we have learned, and there is a lot of business that we are moving in this house based on what we learn in the IPU meetings. Feel welcome, not just in the Senate, but enjoy Nairobi and take more time to enjoy Kenya. The Nairobi environs are actually good for you to explore. Nairobi is the only city with a national park within Nairobi, so take a moment to actually visit and feel extremely welcome. Thank you very much.
Clerk, let's go to the next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Senator Catherine Muma, you have a petition?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Kindly allow me to read a petition to the Senate concerning the Shanta Gold Kenya Limited proposed underground mining project in Isulu, Bushangala, Ikolomani constituency in Kakamega County. We, the undersigned citizens of the Republic of Kenya and members of the Isulu, Bushangala, Ikolomani constituency in Kakamega County, draw the attention of the Senate to the following in regard to the ongoing process of prospecting and licensing of Shanta Gold Kenya Limited and other actors to undertake gold mining in Isulu, Bushangala in Kakamega County. That Shanta Gold Kenya Limited, a company incorporated in Kenya in 2010, has been prospecting under license number PL 2019-0225 in Isulu, Bushangala area in Kakamega County. Number 2, that the government of Kenya has commenced the process of considering the application for granting a mining license to Shanta Gold Limited, evidence in a public notice on Kenya Gazette number volume number 41, dated 4th March 2026. It must be noted that the area targeted for an underground gold mining and Processing Center in Isulu Bushangala consists of privately owned pieces of land, and therefore the land in question does not come under the purview of community lands, a defined land act in 2026. That the area has been known to contain gold deposits and has been characterized by a long history of artisanal mining. The entry of Shanta Gold Limited will not only give them exclusive gold mining rights, but also threaten the economic livelihoods of many locals, in addition to the projected loss of property. That Shanta Gold Kenya Limited has been undertaking reconnaissance and prospecting activities in the area, and an environmental impact assessment report project number SGL 8045 has been prepared and submitted to the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA. That the public participation process for validation of the report has been mired in controversy. The full report has not been availed to the public as required by Section 59 of the Environment Management and Coordination Act, CAP 387, and Regulation 17 of the Environment Impact Assessment and Audit Regulations of 2003, particularly the socio-economic and cultural risk management and the resettlement action for the affected communities. Number 6, that NEMA advertised for public participation meetings on 12th November 2025 and 4th December 2025. Honorable Speaker, I'm being disrupted by all the noise in the House. Thank you. That NEMA advertised for public participation meetings on 12th November 2025 and 4th December 2025 at Bushangala Technical Training Institute, which failed to take off as protests flared up, resulting in injury and the death of 4 persons. A subsequent 2-week police crackdown saw incidents of police brutality and the arrest and prosecution of 51 locals. Number 7, that the EIA report by Shanta Gold Kenya Limited fails to adequately address land-related issues, including the number of families likely to be displaced, the extent of land acquisition proposed by Shanta Gold Kenya Limited, how land under incomplete succession or transfer will be handled, proposed arrangements for graves and other cultural heritage sites linked to the ancestral land, and the rationale for the government not adopting a leasehold arrangement on the said land with full restoration and resettlement after the mining. Number 8, that officials in the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, including the Principal Secretary, hosted members of Kakamega County Assembly on diverse dates to discuss the mining project without the community representatives being present. As a result, the community feels excluded from the process and has lost confidence in the ability of officials from the ministry to act in a neutral and objective manner in mediating the matter, exacerbating fears that the officials are advocating for the interests of Shanta Gold Limited. Number 9, that the process is opaque and has not complied with the requirements of Article 10 of the Constitution on transparency and accountability, public participation, respect for the rule of law, the protection of human rights, among other principles of the Constitution. As a result, the petitioners are seeking the intervention of the Senate to obtain full disclosure of how the national and the county governments have handled the matter of gold prospecting and planned mining in Isulu Bushangala area in Kakamega County. Number 10, that neither the county government of Kakamega nor the national government has provided clarity on the proposed social, economic, and cultural mitigation measures incorporated in any agreement that they may have signed or intend to sign with Shanta Gold Kenya Limited or any other licensee. Number 11, that none of the issues raised in the petition are pending before any court of law, constitution, or legal body, and if there was, the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs would not be implementing activities in regard to this project as they are currently doing. Number 12, consequently, the petitioners pray that the Senate intervenes and inquires into the issues raised with a view to establishing the following. A, whether the licensing process for granting Shanta Gold Limited permission to undertake reconnaissance or prospecting activities has complied with the provisions of the Mining Act and the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, Cap 387, and any other relevant law. B, whether the conduct of the officials of the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy, and Maritime Affairs met the standards of integrity, impartiality, and professionalism required for public officers involved in licensing process. Number 3, whether NEMA has fulfilled its legal obligations in handling the application by Shanta Gold Kenya Limited, including full disclosure of the EIA report to the affected communities, particularly the Resettlement Act plan. D, whether in the proposed settlement plan, issues pertaining to displacement, compensation, and resettlement of affected persons, protecting and conservation of cultural and religious sites, and restoration to the ancestral land have been factored. Number E, whether the conduct of the law enforcement officers during the aborted NEMA public participation meetings was appropriate in the circumstances, and measures taken to ensure accountability and compensatory avenues, if any, available to the affected families. And F, assess the impact of the activities and operations of Shanta Gold Kenya on the local communities in Kenya. The Senate to make recommendations that it deems fit in regard to the petition. I've read the petition on behalf of Mr. Daniel Kubasu, Mr. Simon B. Luceno, Mr. Andrew Maleche Achesa. Petition presented by Senator Catherine Muma, nominated senator. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 2-81, I commit the petition to the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources. And in terms of Standing Order 2-82A, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading the prayer to table its report in the Senate for consideration. The Senate shall therefore consider and adopt the report of the committee. Thank you. Chair, Land and Environment, you are appropriately guided. I now wish to reorganize the order of business this afternoon. We defer order number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we go straight to order number 12, Clerk.
Order number 12, the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2025. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 13th May 2026, afternoon sitting. Division.
Honorable Senators, can we have the division bell rung for 3 minutes? Honorable Senators, I think the 3 minutes are over. So, Sanjay Tatam, can you close the doors and draw the bars? Other Senators? Honorable Senators, I put the question that the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Views number 38 of 2025, be now read a second time. So we are going to the division and we are voting electronically. And Senator George Bugwa and Senator Beatrice Ogola. Sorry? Okay. Okay. Good. So, Senator Bugwa, know that you have been enabled to vote electronically on behalf of the delegation, Nyandarua delegation. So for those who are not familiar with the new system, honorable senators, for those who are not familiar with the new system, you either vote yes, no, or abstain. Those are the three votes that you can make this afternoon on this bill. So if we are ready, then we can go straight to voting. Sorry? Now you can proceed and start voting. Senator Joyce Coril, you can approach the table and vote on behalf of Bometi delegation. Senator Maruma Jones approach the table as well. Honourable Senators, Senator Mwenda Gataya. These I want to give you the results of the division of the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2025. Ayes that 1, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Forest Conservation and Management Act and for connected purposes.
So, honorable senators, I again rearrange the order of business. We defound on number 13, and then we just wait. The business will flow as the chair is guiding. I don't need any guidance. Yes, I've said we proceed to order number 14. I've requested the clerk to read out the order.
Order number 14, Committee of the Whole. The Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2025.
You know, on several occasions, I've advised senators what you do when the chair stands up on a committee of the whole. You look at the chair and then you bow like this, and also this side, and then that is done.
Honourable members, we are now in the Committee of the Whole for the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2025.
Clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Honourable Senators, please settle down. Clauses 3, 4... No, I propose the question that clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. I put the question that clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
Clause 10.
I propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. Chairperson? Chairperson? Senator Faki?
With my committee, I do not choose to proceed with the amendments.
Senator Faki, is the committee dropping the amendments?
Yes, these were committee amendments, Madam Chair.
This one now. I propose the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed. I put the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed.
Clauses 11, 12, 13, and 14.
I propose the question that clauses 11, 12, 13, and 14 be part of the bill. I put the question that clauses 11, 12, 13, and 14 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
Clause 15.
I propose the question that clause 15 be part of the bill. Chairperson?
Again, Madam Chair, upon consultations with my committee, we do not wish to proceed with the amendments.
So you wish to drop the amendment? I propose the question that clause 15 be amended as proposed. I put the question that clause 15 be amended as proposed. Division at the end.
Tell senators that we'll go back to clause 10 so that I propose the question that amendment clause 10 be withdrawn. That should be the case.
Okay, I'm wondering, but you haven't. Honourable Senators, apologies. We are going back to clause 10. And I propose the question that clause 10, please. I propose the question that the amendment to clause 10 be withdrawn as proposed by the chairperson. I put the question that the amendment to clause 10 be withdrawn as proposed by the chairperson. Division at the end.
Clauses 11, 12, 13, and 14.
I propose the question that clauses 11, 12, 13, and 14 be part of the bill. I put the question that clauses 11, 12, 13, and 14 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
Clause 15.
I propose the question that clause 15 be part of the bill. Chairperson? B dropped. Please give the mic.
Chair, upon consultation with the committee, we do not wish to proceed with the amendments.
I propose the question that the amendments to clause 15 be dropped as proposed by the chairperson. I put the question that the amendments to clause 15 be dropped as proposed by the chairperson. Division at the end.
Clause 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
I propose the question that clauses 16, 17, 18, and 19 and 20 be part of the bill. I put the question that clauses 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
Clause 21.
I propose the question that clause 21 be part of the bill. Chairperson.
Madam Chair, upon consultations with the committee, we do not wish to proceed with the amendments.
I propose the question that clause 21 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 21 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
Clauses 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27.
I propose the question that clauses 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 be part of the bill. I put the question that clauses 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chairperson.
Madam Chair, upon consultations with the committee, we do not wish to proceed with the amendments.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
The title and clause 1.
I propose the question that the title and clause 1 be part of the bill. I put the question that the title and clause 1 be part of the bill. Division at the end. Honorable members, we've finished canvassing the clauses. We will now request that the division bell be rung for 5 minutes so that we can go. You can stop the bell. I think we have the the numbers and close the doors. Then shut the doors.
Close the door and draw the bar.
Please close the door and draw the bar.
Since we're not using cards, there's no withdrawing of cards, so we just press it. So we can put the question.
Starting from here.
Yeah, no, here, number 2 only, since there's no elements.
Honorable Senators, I now put the question that clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 2, the title and clause 1 be part of the bill. You may now vote. Honorable members, you're now voting. Please vote. Whatever figure.
Wala ambao hawajapiga watakuja. We'll know right now once they print. Who has not voted? Senator Kathuri, Deputy Speaker.
Who is here?
Senator Kathuri.
Senator Kathuri Murungi. How can you discriminate against the speaker? Senator Korir, please. The conference of the illiterate.
Oh my God.
Okay. Honorable Senators, we have the results for this division. The ayes 31, the nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. Call on the mover. Chairperson, is it? No, it's the majority leader. Majority leader.
Yeah, it's without amendments. Yeah. Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee consideration of the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, and its approval thereof without amendments.
Honorable Senators, we have another division at third reading, so we are requesting that you don't move out until we finish. Honorable Senators, I wish to put the question. I put the question that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, and its approval thereof. Will as many without amendments. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable Senators, I can see the members already withdrawn. Can you open also the doors? Then Honorable Senators, kindly don't leave because we have another division. So, Chairperson to report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, and its approval thereof without amendments.
Mover.
Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I request Senator Ledama to second.
Senator Ledama Lekina.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Senator Kinyua, what is it you are doing on the chairs and this? Okay. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the same report. I put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the same report. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As those of the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, be now read a third time. I request Senator Ledamo Lekina to second.
Mr. Speaker, I do second.
Senator Lekina has never seconded any bill without taking almost 20 minutes to second or to. Okay. I propose the question that the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, be now read at that time. And honorable senators, you know, I've been around for quite some time. The reason why the Speaker poses when the bill is read at that time is to give an opportunity to any member who wishes to contribute or to say something at that point, right? So I must really school some of the senators who don't know why the chairman suppose. Okay. I put the question that the Forest Conservation I put the question that the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, be now read at that time. Okay. So, members, we are going to the division again, and I request the division bill to belong for 1 minute, 2 minutes. If we have quorum, then we can proceed. If we have quorum, so Sergeant at arms, close the doors and roll the bars. And you remember I did put the question so we can directly go to voting. Honourable Senators, these are the results of the third reading of the bill. The ayes that 1, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Forest Conservation and Management Act and for connected purposes.
Sergeant at Arms, can you kindly the doors to be open and bars to be withdrawn? So, Honorable Senators, we now go back to the order paper. We go to order number 5, Clerk.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
There is a notice to be given by the Chairperson, Select Committee on Delegated Legislation. Order, Senators. If you are retreating, kindly do it silently.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion. That aware that the traffic school transport rules 26, legal notice number 20, legal notice number 11 of 2026, the traffic and drinking rules 26, legal notice number 12 of 2026, the traffic motor vehicle inspection rules 26, legal notice number 13 of 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority operation of commercial vehicles regulation 2026, legal notice number 14 of 2026, were tabled in the Senate on 26 February 2026 and referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation for consideration pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Statutory Instrument Act. Considered that pursuant to Section 15(1) and 2 of the Statutory Instruments Act, the committee is required to consider the regulations and make its determination within 28 sitting days after the date of referral of the instrument by the Senate, which period lapses on Tuesday, 2nd of June 2026. Aware that Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of a statutory instrument by a period of not exceeding 21 days, current days, noting that the committee requires additional time to hold meetings with the key stakeholders, including the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport. Now, therefore, the Senate, pursuant to Section 15(3) of the statutory instruments, resolves to extend the timeline for the consideration of the traffic school transport rules 2026, notice number 11 of 2026, the traffic and drinking driving rules 2026, notice number 12 of 2026, the traffic motor vehicle inspection rules number 2026, notice number 13 of 2026, the National Transport and Safety Authority operation of commercial vehicles, regulation 2026, notice number 14 of 2026, for a further 21 calendar days to enable the committee to conclude its consideration on or before Tuesday, 23rd June 2026. Honorable Speaker, I give a notice of motion. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, I again want to reorganize the order paper. Yeah, we are doing them, but after we defer number 7 for a few moments, and then we go to order number 7, 8, we go to order number 9.
Order number 9, motion, extension of time on the consideration of the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026, the Traffic Drink Driving Rules 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority Operation of Commercial Vehicles Regulations 2026.
Chairman, delegated.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion. That are aware that the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026, legal notice number 11 of 2026, the Traffic Drinking Rules 2026, legal notice number 12 of 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, legal notice number 13 of 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority Operation of Commercial Vehicles Regulation 2026, legal notice number 14 of 2026 was tabled in the Senate on 26 February 2026 and referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation for consideration pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Assessment Instruments Act. Considered that pursuant to Section 15(1) and 2 of the Assessment Instruments Act, the committee is required to consider the delegation and make its determination within 21 sitting days, 28 sitting days, and after the date of referral of the instrument by the Senate, which period elapses on Tuesday, 2nd of June 2026. Aware that Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of a statutory instrument by a period not exceeding 21 calendar days, noting that the committee requires additional time to hold meetings with the key stakeholders, including the Cabinet Secretary, for roads and transport. Now, therefore, the Senate, pursuant to Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, resolves to extend the timeline for the consideration of the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026, legal notice number 11 of 2026, the Traffic Drinking Rules 2026, legal notice number 12 of 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, legal notice number 13 of 2026, the National Transport and Safety Authority Operation of Commercial Vehicles, legal notice number 2026, legal notice number 14 of 2026, for a further 21 days, calendar days, to enable the committee to conclude its examination on or before Tuesday, 23rd June 2026. I request Honorable Daktari Senator Mungatana to second.
Senator Daktari Mungatana Danson.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Chair, Senator Gataya Mofire, for moving this motion for extension of time. Mr. Speaker, I want to be protected from Chararge here. Mr. Speaker, the reason that we are seeking an extension, Mr. Speaker, I want to be protected from Kenya.
Senator Kenywa, Senator Chalagay.
Mr. Speaker, the reason that we seek this House to give us an extension of time at the Delegated Legislation Committee is because, Mr. Speaker, there are 4 important traffic regulations and rules that are being introduced. And these rules, Mr. Speaker, will affect our daily lives. Mr. Speaker, these rules, if we don't consider them at the Senate level, if we don't consider them properly, they will pass without us having looked at them properly. Mr. Speaker, the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026 that have been proposed will make more cost added to parents, because it is proposed that more people be employed in every school transport. It is proposed in those regulations, Mr. Speaker, that the buses are going to be fitted with more electronic gadgets, which will mean more money spent on school transport. And Mr. Speaker, we need to hear parents, national parents associations, so that they tell us what they think about these proposed amendments. Mr. Speaker, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, they require, Mr. Speaker, that every car in Kenya that has more than 4 years will have to undergo an inspection every 2 years, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, we know, for example, the rule is that we do not import cars into Kenya which are older than 8 years. But, Mr. Speaker, now, these regulations that are being brought, they are saying every car that is 4 years will have to undergo inspection. As it is now, Mr. Speaker, the only vehicles that are undergoing inspection are the vehicles that are matatus or commercial vehicles, government vehicles, and these vehicles that carry school children. Now, every person who has a vehicle must undergo government inspection. Mr. Speaker, we want to hear what the people of Kenya have to say, and we want people to come and make their presentations before the committee of delegated legislation. Mr. Speaker, if we don't get this extension, what it means is that these regulations will come into operations by operation of law without the people of Kenya having been heard. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm just putting the context before the House that they approve for us the extension of time so that Kenyans who have not come before the committee can come and be heard. And Mr. Speaker, while I am still on this floor, we want to urge the Inspector General of Police. We have heard that they are trying to start enforcing these regulations even before they have gone through the processes within the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I urge them not to try and enforce inspection of vehicles which are over 4 years, because those regulations are not yet passed. And I know the people of Kenya will have a lot to say about them. So, Mr. Speaker, I am urging the House to grant this motion for extension of time so that we can be able to hear all the stakeholders. So far, we have had a few of them, but the time is not with us, and we are going into recess, and we need to do preparation and tabling this report in good time. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge the House to approve this motion that we extend the time for consideration of and hearing of stakeholders before these rules are adopted or rejected by the committee. Mr. Speaker, with all so many remarks, I beg to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All the senators, all the majority leader, honorable senators, I propose the question that aware that the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026, legal notice number 11 of 2026, the Traffic Drink Driving Rules 2026, legal notice number 12 of 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, legal notice number 13 of 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority Operation of Commercial Vehicles Regulations 2026, legal notice number 14 of 2026 were tabled in the Senate on 26 February 2026 and referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation for consideration pursuant to Section 112(1) of the Statutory Instruments Act. Cognizant that pursuant to Section 15(1) and 2 of the Statutory Instruments Act, the committee is required to consider the regulations and make its determination within 28 sitting days after the date of the referral of the instruments by the Senate, which period will lapse on Tuesday, 2nd June 2026. Aware that Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of a statutory instrument by a period not exceeding 21 calendar days. Noting that the committee requires additional time to hold meetings with the key stakeholders, including the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport. Now, therefore, the Senate, pursuant to Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, resolves to extend the timeline for the consideration of the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026, legal notice number 11 of 2026, the Traffic and Drink Driving Rules 2026, legal notice number 12 of 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, legal notice number 13 of 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority Operation of Commercial Vehicles Regulations 2026, legal notice number 14 of 2026, for a further 21 calendar days to enable the committee to conclude its consideration on or before Tuesday, 23rd June 2026. Now, there are members interested to contribute to this motion. Senator Kajwang.
No, but you move for 15 minutes.
This is the House of Debate. You must be patient. When members want to say something on a matter that interests them, you should give them that opportunity.
Mr. Speaker, I think it is fair, even though this is a procedural motion, ideally this is not a procedural motion. When you're extending time that is prescribed in your standing orders, it is no longer procedural. It is substantive, Mr. Speaker, because there's a reason why those timelines were put in place. Whereas I rise to support the request, because I know that the chair of this committee is a man of good intentions, and I know that the seconder of the motion is also a man of good intentions. The only reason why I've risen, Mr. Speaker, is that there is a problem when it comes to delineation of the role of the national government and county government when it comes to traffic control and management. Mr. Speaker, my committee has just returned from a visit to South Africa. And while in South Africa, we sat with the Public Accounts Committee looking at the books of one of the metropolitan cities. Mr. Speaker, it emerged that in that metropolitan city, the leadership decided to turn off the instant fines. And as a result, the municipality lost 2 billion rands. You can imagine how much money that is. That is almost 18 billion Kenya shillings, lost through instant fines that have been turned off. Mr. Speaker, I rise to point this House, or raise the attention of this House, that the 4th schedule of the Constitution gives to county governments the responsibility of county transport, including traffic and parking, street lighting, public road transport, etc. Mr. Speaker, when NTSA comes up with an instant fine system, is that a national function or a county function? And we have seen in jurisdictions like South Africa that those then go to the devolved and decentralized governments. The reason I rise is to ask the chair of this committee that with the extension that we have given him, let him not allow the national government to get away with functions that are clearly marked as county functions. I know this is a concurrent function, that it is a function assigned to both the national and county governments. Mr. Speaker, the 4th schedule, Part 1, 18, assigns the national government transport and communications, including road traffic. Part 2 assigns county governments county transport, including traffic and parking. Let us not encourage a situation where the national government monopolizes issues to do with traffic, issues to do with transport, issues to do with parking. And I hope that the chair of this committee will scrutinize these regulations and ensure that the national government is not taking away. Mr. Speaker, instant fines collected within Nairobi County ideally should go to the county revenue fund rather than to the national fund. That is the situation in other countries with similar devolved structures. And Mr. Speaker, if the governor of Nairobi could just implement an instant fine system in this county, Nairobi County would be able to pay all its obligations. Nairobi County will not even have to rely on national disbursements for it to continue operating. So I hope that we are not just ticking boxes. I hope that we are going to annul any regulation that attempts to take away the power of county governments, and I hope that the Council of Governors will come out strongly to ensure that we defend their territory as provided for in Part 2 of the 4th schedule. Mr. Speaker, I support the extension with that guidance to the committee. Thank you.
Very well, Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support the motion to extend the time for these particular regulations. And you cannot, Honorable Speaker, from what the chair and the who seconded the motion, Honorable Speaker, that NTSA wants to come up with some raft of measures, especially the one of doing inspection for all vehicles that are over 4 years. If you go to the streets, Honorable Speaker, majority, I'm sure 90 or over 95% of the vehicles that you'll see in the streets are over 4 years. So I don't know if NTSA does even have the capacity to undertake inspection of all these vehicles. Or unless, of course, they want to use this particular avenue to raise money for themselves. And maybe if in the process they can employ our youth, and then we don't have a problem with that. But we want the committee, Honorable Speaker, to undertake thorough public participation on these particular regulations, Honorable Speaker, so that people don't go to court. Because you remember the other day when NTSA and the traffic police wanted to implement instant fines on the roads. People went to court to stop it because there was no proper public participation, there was no proper engagement with the public, Honorable Speaker. So we allow the committee to have the 21 days they have requested, but they need to do a thorough job so that Kenyans don't go to court, because as Kenyans we are used to do a lot of litigation. It's like our second job is to go to court. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Senators, there is no other senator wishing to contribute. Before I give them over to reply, let me make this communication. This communication is on the visiting delegation of teachers and students from Kuene Girls Secondary School in Meru County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of a visiting delegation of 4 teachers and 58 students from Kuene Girls Secondary School in Meru County. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. Honorable Senators, Kuene Girls is a school that I served as the area MP for 10 years. It's a school that is really doing so well in academic work. And since my neighbor, the Tharaka-Nithi senator, is around, I am giving him the opportunity to welcome the visitors from Kuene Girls, a school in my county.
Thank you.
Which I hold dearly.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me join you in welcoming in Kuene. Kuene Girls Secondary School is one of the best performing schools currently in the entire Meru and Tharaka-Nithi region. We are proud of you as a region, as a country. I think this time around we will have some opportunity to interact with the big names in this country, the likes of so many senators many of you have been hearing on TV and maybe in the media. This is the house of reason we are here. We are the upper house, and I'm happy that you have found time to come and join the senators. You can see your senator is sitting on the helm of today's speaker. He's the deputy speaker of this the Senate, and I'm happy because I can see some future leaders among the students. I can see senators, I can see governors, I can see all sort of leadership in this conversation. So in this respect, we welcome you, and I hope once you are done with our today's engagement. We shall have an engagement once you are out of this house. You're most welcome. And say hey to the parents once you go home. There is no difference between Tharaka Nithi and Meru County. Actually, we are just one people. Only that administratively we come from different jurisdictions. I come from Tharaka Nithi County, where your senator is my very good friend, and Tharaka Nithi and Meru is just one or the same. Thank you very much and most welcome. Viewpoints and teachers from Kwene House. I know of quite a number of students from my home county in Kwene, especially from Tharaka constituency where I come from. Thank you.
Now, Chair and Delegated registration, you can proceed and reply.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank all the members who have made some very positive contribution towards this extension of time. The reason as to why, Honorable Speaker, we are seeking for extension is purely to make sure that we have thoroughly scrutinized these regulations. We want to invite all the stakeholders. We want to invite, because these are very sensitive regulations. We have 4. Then driving rules regulation, the school transport regulation, and we have also I think there are about 4, and I'm happy that the chair, the chair Chipak has just captured quite a number of issues that this committee is supposed to look at, and that is why we are, Honorable Speaker, and I'm happy that the members have agreed that this committee should be given some further 21 days to make sure that we thoroughly scrutinize these regulations so that we can bring every stakeholder on board. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am back to reply.
Clerk, can you confirm that we have a quorum so that we can put the question? And this is a voice, yeah, we do. And also, members, this matter does not concern counties, and therefore, I now put the question. Minority leader, you can't just walk like you are walking in the streets of Kilifi County. Just have your seat, because you are... Okay, Honorable Senators, I put the question that aware that the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026, you can notice number 11 of 2026, the Traffic Driving Rules 2026, legal notice number 12 of 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, legal notice number 13 of 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority Operation of Commercial Vehicles Regulations 2026, legal notice number 14 of 2026 were tabled in the Senate on 26 February 2026 and referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Registration for consideration pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Statutory Instruments Act. Cognizant that pursuant to Section 15(1) and 2 of the Statutory Instruments Act, the committee is required to consider the regulations and make its determination within 28 sitting days after the date of referral of the instruments by the Senate, which period will elapse on Tuesday, 2nd June 2026. Aware that Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of a statutory instrument by a period not exceeding 21 calendar days. Noting that the committee requires additional time to hold meetings with the key stakeholders, including the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport. Now, therefore, the Senate, pursuant to Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, resolves to extend the timeline for the consideration of the Traffic School Transport Rules 2026, legal notice number 11 of 2026, the Traffic Drink Driving Rules 2026, legal notice number 12 of 2026, the Traffic Motor Vehicle Inspection Rules 2026, legal notice number 13 of 2026, and the National Transport and Safety Authority Operation of Commercial Vehicles Regulations 2026, legal notice number 14 of 2026 for a further 21 calendar days to enable the committee to conclude its consideration on or before Tuesday, 23rd June 2026. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, honorable senators, we are going back now to order number 7, which is questions and statements. Clerk.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Senator Veronica Maina. Sorry, but you have that first priority because of reasons better known to me.
Yes. I understand, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is a request for a statement on the discovery of 2 unidentified bodies of children in Kiama River, Gatanga constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations on a matter of county-wide concern regarding discovery of 2 unidentified bodies of children in Kiama River, Gatanga constituency on 10th May 2026. Preliminary reports, Mr. Speaker, sir, indicate that the victims are a boy who was found without any clothing, estimated to be approximately 14 years old, and a girl estimated to be between 5 and 9 years old. The identities of these children remain unknown, and the circumstances surrounding their deaths are shrouded in mystery. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, the current status of the investigation into the deaths of the 2 children, including whether a post-mortem examination has been conducted to determine the cause and approximate time of death. Number 2, the immediate steps taken by the National Police Service to facilitate the identification of the deceased children, including whether the police have conducted systemic matching of reports of missing persons within Gatanga and neighboring constituencies. Number 3, the steps being taken to enhance security patrols along the Kiama River, the broader Kiriaine location, and Gatanga constituency at large to reassure residents of their safety. Number 4, the mechanisms in place to assist the affected families once identified and to provide psychological support to the community members who discovered the bodies. Senator Veronica Maina. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, Senator Ali Hibule Mloba.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the matter of inter-county concern regarding administration of county pension fund. Honorable Speaker, in the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the information system in use for management of the county pension fund and related administrative affairs. Number 2, the current number of pension contributors under the fund and whether the contributors receive regular account statement and other updates relating to their accounts. Number 3, whether any part of the pension fund have been invested in construction projects, and if so, obtain details of the performance of each completed project, progress of ongoing projects, and any external financing arrangement related to these projects. Number 4, the nature of other investments from the pension fund, along with evidence that the investments are viable and that adequate measures have been put in place to safeguard against potential losses. Number 5, the measures in place to protect members' contribution from mismanagement and corruption and to guarantee that contributors receive their dues upon retirement or formal withdrawal. Signed, Senator Ali Ibrahim Roba Mondera. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, very well. Senator Consolata Wakwabubi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of national concern regarding teenage pregnancies in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kenya recorded over 232,000 teenage pregnancies in 2025. Busia County has recorded over 65,000 cases, making it one of the most severely affected regions, followed by Nairobi, 14,291, Kakamega, 11,630, Nakuru, 10,934, Bungoma, 10,444, among others. This crisis threatens education, entrenches poverty, and strains healthcare systems. Beyond a public health emergency, it poses a labor and economic challenge that will affect national productivity and stability for decades. It undermines girls' education, limits their future participation in the workforce, and perpetuates circles of vulnerability. In their statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the socio-economic, cultural, and systemic drivers behind teenage pregnancies across the country, including actions taken to mitigate the trends. 2, the effectiveness of current interventions put in place to review school reentry policies, adolescent health programs, and child protection frameworks, including the gaps identified in enforcement and resource allocation, particularly in ensuring teenage mothers continue their education without stigma or discrimination. 3, the perspectives of stakeholders, including local leaders, educators, healthcare providers, parents, and the affected teenagers, on the scale and impact of the crisis, with emphasis on how teenage pregnancies disrupt education and limit future opportunities. 4, how teenage pregnancies are affecting school completion rates, labor force participation, productivity, and long-term economic development, with recommendations for policy reform that safeguard both education and livelihoods. Senator Consolata Okwabubi, MP, nominated Senator. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next is Senator Alexander Mudigi.
Mr. Speaker, sir, request for statement on the proposed construction of Kandenge Dam. Mr. Speaker, sir, I raise person to Standing Order 53.1 to check a statement from the Standing Committee on Energy on matter of county-wide concern regarding the proposed construction of Kandenge Dam in Embu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, while expanding power generation is essential to increasing national grid connectivity, and while dam project can enhance agricultural productivity through irrigation, it is unaccessible for such critical project to proceed without clarity, transparency, and due consideration for the people it will directly affect. In the statement, the committee should address the following: whether the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum will conduct a proper feasibility study to determine the dam's specifications, including its size, the extent of land coverage, and the exact number of families that will be displaced or otherwise affected. 2, the proportion of the local population that stand to directly benefit from the project, particularly through access to irrigation water, and how this benefit will be equitably distributed. Whether Kandenge Primary School is likely to be affected, given that the school lies within the proposed project area, and if so, the immediate measures the ministry has put in place to ensure that any relocation in current out without disrupting running. 4. The compensation mechanism established by the ministry to guarantee proper, fair, and adequate compensation for all affected land owners and residents. Senator Alexander Munyimondigi. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have a second statement. Mr. Speaker, sir, request for statement on the drained completion of the Kamburu water supply project. Mr. Speaker, sir, raise person to standing order 53.1 to check a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the drained completion of the Kamburu water supply project. Mr. Speaker, sir, residents across Embu County continue to endure acute and prolonged water shortages, dispute the allocation of substantial public funds to the project. This situation has raised concern over accountability. The pace of implementation of the project and the prudent use of public resources in address and uses that directly affect public health, livelihoods, economic activities, and the overall welfare of the people of Embu County. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the current status of the Kamburu water supply project, including the total funds allocated to the project since its inception. 2. The official completion timeline as per the contract approved budgetary allocation and detailed account of all funds dispersed to date, including payment made to the contractor. The reason for the delay, any cost variations, implementation challenges encountered, and a clear and revised timeline for the project completion. Senator Alexander Munyimondigi, Senator for Embu County, Daktari.
Senator Chalage, next.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker. Request for statement on the lack of government support for Kenyan skater, Kelvin Kiarie. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to request a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of national concern regarding the government support for Kenyan skater Kelvin Kiarie, and athletes participating in emerging and non-mainstream sports disciplines in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, sir, Madam Speaker, Kenyan skater.
You want to decide whether it's Madam Speaker or Madam Speaker, sir, or Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sir?
I will stick with Madam Speaker.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, Kenyan skater Kelvin Kiarie recently won gold and silver medals at the International Skating Challenge in Benin and double gold at the African Skating Championships in Egypt. We congratulate him. These victories were achieved without government sponsorship or institutional support of sports within the athlete, relying on public appeals for financial assistance. His journey reflects a broader problem in Kenyan sports. Individual triumphs in emerging disciplines often occur despite systemic neglect. While Kevin's medals are a source of national pride, they also expose the lack of support for athletes outside mainstream sports such as football, rugby, and sometimes athletics. If Kenya is to sustain its leadership in continuous sports, and Madam Speaker, it was sad to see the only welcoming person was the wife and children, and sports were never present, any person. It must ensure equitable recognition and support for all athletes, mainstream and emerging alike. In the statement, Madam Speaker, the committee should address the following. 1, reason for lack of financial, logistical, or institutional support to Kelvin Kiarie by the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports Kenya, the Sports Fund, or any other relevant agency. Madam Speaker, sir, whether the government has a policy or framework for identifying, nurturing, and supporting athletes in emerging and non-mainstream sports discipline, including skating. Madam Speaker, the criteria used in allocating sponsorship, funding, and facilitation to athletes representing Kenya in international competitions, and whether these criteria adequately cover emerging sports in the country. Madam Speaker, 4th, details of budgetary allocations and expenditures towards emerging and non-mainstream sports disciplines over the last 5 financial years, including skating and related talent development programs. Madam Speaker, the plans and strategies in place to establish training facilities, talent development programs, and sponsorship structures for skating and other emerging non-traditional sports. Policy interventions be considered to ensure equitable support for our athletes, sportsmen and women across all sports disciplines, and whether the government intends to formally recognize and support Kelvin Kiarie and others following his wonderful achievements to Kelvin Kiarie. I thank you, Madam Speaker, without sir.
Thank you, Senator Chirerigei, for finally calling me by the right title. Senator Joyce Corril, you may proceed to present the statement on behalf of Senator Hilary Sigei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yeah, the statement is on the repatriation of the remains of the Kenyan nationals who died in the plane crash in South Sudan on 27th April 2026. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to the Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations on a matter of national concern regarding repatriation of remains of Kenyan nationals who died in a plane crash in South Sudan on 27th April 2026. Madam Speaker, on the morning of Monday, 27th April 2026, a Cessna 208B Grand Caravan aircraft operated by the CityLink Aviation Limited departed Yei Airport in South Sudan at 9:15 a.m. Central African Time en route to Chupa International Airport. At approximately 9:43 a.m., barely 28 minutes into the flight, air traffic control lost all the communications with the aircraft. The aircraft was later discovered to have crashed, and its wreckage was found approximately 20 kilometers southwest of Juba. South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority confirmed that all 14 passengers on board perished in the crash and were burned beyond recognition. The victims include 2 Kenyan nationals, Captain Francis Lagat Ruto from Chebole in Bomet County, Kipsonoi Sotik constituency, who was the pilot, and Mr. Brian Mwenge from Lurambi constituency, Kakamega County. Mr. Speaker, it is deeply concerning that more than 2 weeks since this tragedy, the remains of the 2 Kenyan nationals have not been repatriated to their families for proper and dignified last rites and burial. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the specific steps taken by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs to facilitate the identification and repatriation of the remains of the Captain Francis Lagat Ruto and Mrs. Brian Mwenge. Secondly, the expected timelines for the repatriation, including the indication of the persons bearing the responsibility for the associated cost. 3, whether the ministry has established and maintained a communication channel with the affected families to ensure that they receive timely and real-time updates regarding the identification and repatriation of process, as well as the status of the investigation into the accident. Fourth one, Madam Speaker, is whether the ministry has extended the necessary consular support to the next of kin of the deceased Kenyans to facilitate their involvement in the identification and repatriation process. Last one, the diplomatic representation Kenya has made to safeguard the interests of the affected families, including whether the ministry has formally requested the preliminary accident report. From Senator Wakili Sigei, Bomet County. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Joyce Koril. Senator Mwenda Gataya, you have a statement? Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations on a matter of national concern concerning the status of organization, funding, and infrastructure for newly gazetted administrative units across the country. Madam Speaker, in November 2024, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, through Gazette Notice number 15341, established 578 new administrative units comprising of 27 sub-counties, 59 divisions, 170 locations, and 322 sub-locations to bring government services closer to the people, particularly in underserved areas. However, many of these units remain non-operational due to inadequate funding, lack of office infrastructure, insufficient staffing, and poor connectivity, thereby undermining effective administration and service delivery, especially in arid and semi-arid lands, that is, ASO counties. In the statement, Madam Speaker, the committee should address the following. The criteria and the framework are used to identify and gazette the new administrative units, including whether financial and operational viability assessments were conducted, and provide a breakdown of budgetary allocations for the year 2025-2026 financial year, indicating amounts allocated, disbursed, and utilized up to date. Number 2, Madam Speaker, the number of newly gazetted administrative units currently lacking physical office and the measures being taken to address the challenge. Number 3, Madam Speaker, the committee should also look at whether there are plans to construct and equip offices for all gazetted units lacking in infrastructure, including timelines for completion. Number 4, Madam Speaker, the committee should also look at the current staffing levels in the newly gazetted units and the measures being taken to ensure provision of adequate personnel. The last one, Madam Speaker, but not the least, the committee should also look at the affirmative action measures being implemented to prioritize funding in infrastructure and staff deployment to the new administrative units in ASO and other majorized counties. Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is Senator Mwenda Gataya, Mofaya, CBS, MP, Senator for Delegated County.
Thank you, Senator Mwenda Gataya. Senator Alexander Mudigi.
Question 2. Madam Speaker, statement relating to a statement requested by Senator. Madam Speaker, a raised person to Standing Order 56.1 of the Senate Standing Order to make a statement relating to a statement requested by Senator from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. Madam Speaker, At the sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, 6th May 2026, the Speaker directed the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare to provide a response to the House on statement sought by Senator Fatuma Duro, CBS MP, regarding the unlawful removal of county assembly staff from the payroll and denial of salaries and benefit in Isiolo County not later than Wednesday, 13th May 2026. Madam Speaker, the committee used the respondents to the Governor of Isiolo County on 3rd March 2026 and clerk of the County Assembly of Isiolo on 2nd April 2026 to submit response to the statement. Madam Speaker, the committee received a response from the Governor of Isiolo County through a letter dated 13th March 2026, which was shared with the Senator for consideration and comment. However, the response from the clerk of the County Assembly of Isiolo remained outstanding dispute follow-up on 2022 April 2026 and 7th May 2026. Madam Speaker, the committee remains seized of the matter and shall share a comprehensive report with the Senate and the Senator upon receipt of the response from the clerk of the County Assembly. I'm acting as a chairperson for LIPA, Senator Alexander Munyimondigi. I have another one for LIPA. Can I
proceed?
Statement, Madam Speaker, statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare for the period between February 2026 to April 2026, pursuant to Standing Order 56(1) B of the Senate Standing Order. Madam Speaker, I raise pursuant to Standing Order 56(1) B of the Senate Standing Orders to make statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare for the period between February and April 2026. Madam Speaker, during the period under review, the committee held a total of 22 sitting, during which it considered 17 statements, 1 bill and 2 petitions. Madam Speaker, in executing its brand mandate, the committee focused on key social and labor matters within its remit, with particular emphasis on occupational safety and health OSHA enforcement, persons oversight and governance, gender-based violence, and farm saint. The committee also hosted a delegation from the Portfolio Committee on Social Development of the Libombo Legislature, South Africa, aimed at gaining insight into Kenya's approach to GBV, with particular focus on the policy, legal, and institutional framework interventions. The legislative business under consideration by the committee is attached in Appendix 1. Bills. Madam Speaker, during the period under review, the committee concluded consideration of the Public Service Internship Bill 2022, National Assembly Bill number 63 of 2022. The bill established a structured framework for managing internship program in the public sector by standing recruitment, supervision, duration, and compensation of interns. It is actioned on constitutional principles of youth empowerment, fair labor practice, and socio-economic rights, and seek to address existing constituencies in internship administration across public institutions. Statement. Madam Speaker, during the period under review, the committee received 17 new statements that cut across key thematic area of labor relations, social protection, and worker welfare at both national and county levels, including staffing dispute, layoff, recruitment, malpractice, insurance, coverage, unpaid benefit, use of development funds, industrial unrest, and compliance with the labor standards. The committee shared the response received with the senators who requested for the statement and supplementary uses raised were activity followed by with the relevant ministries and agencies. Petition. Madam Speaker, the committee remained seized of two petitions, namely the inaccessibility of public buildings and office by persons with disabilities in Mombasa County and the winding up and requisition of the Technical University of Kenya Staff Retirement Benefit Scheme. The Technical University of Kenya Staff Retirement Benefit Scheme petition as required sustained and detailed engagement with trustee, sponsoring institution, regulators, and affected numbers. In resources, Madam Speaker, the committee has intensified oversight on occupational safety and health, noting rising workplace accident, unsafe condition, and gaps in enforcement of safety standards following a recent inspection visit to the construction site at Bomas of Kenya. The committee will undertake further county inspection visit in the next season to strengthen compliance, accountability, and worker protection nationwide. Madam Speaker, the committee is also examining labor immigration, recruitment system, and the welfare of Kenyans workers both locally and abroad, amid concern of over-exploitation, unethical recruitment, and adequate worker protection. In order to address these issues, the committee is scheduled to meet the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, and the National Employment Authority, NEA, to strengthen labor immigration. Madam Speaker, Senator Alexander Munyimodigi, I'm acting as a chairperson for labor. Thank you.
Senator Veronica. And Senator Veronica, you will read your own statement and you may proceed to read the one for JLAC.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I'm reading a request for a statement on the expulsion of female recruits from the National Police College, Kiganjo, on account of pregnancy. Madam Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations on a matter of national concern regarding expulsion of 18 female recruits from the National Police College, Kiganjo, on account of pregnancy. Madam Speaker, The National Police Service based the decision on its existing training regulation and justifies it on account of the physically demanding nature of the police training. This reflects a deeply concerning lack of gender sensitivity and institutional responsiveness towards women, particularly expectant mothers seeking opportunities for public service and professional advancement. Pregnancy is neither misconduct nor incapacity, and motherhood must never be construed as a disqualification from service, leadership, or employment. The expulsion of these young women sends a disturbing and regressive message that women are still expected to choose between their biological realities and their aspirations to serve this nation. Such an approach undermines the constitutional principles of equality, inclusivity, and social justice enshrined under Articles 27, 28, and 41 of the Constitution. The continued implementation of such policies and practices that disproportionately disadvantage women demonstrates the urgent need for stronger gender-sensitive reforms within the National Police Service and across the public service. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the assessment of the legal standing of the provision of the National Police Service Training Regulation that was the basis for the expulsion of 18 female recruits from the National Police College, Keganjo, on account of pregnancy, in view of the principles of equality, inclusivity, and social justice enshrined under Article 27, 28, and 41 of the Constitution. Whether the National Police Service has considered adopting gender-responsive recruitment and training policies that reasonably accommodate expectant recruits. Number 3, whether the National Police Service could also consider reviewing other institutional frameworks and administrative policies, including the police standing orders, to ensure alignment with the Constitution and Kenya's international obligation relating to gender equality and women's rights. Number 4, the safeguards in place to prevent discriminatory practice against women within public institutions generally, particularly on the basis of pregnancy or maternal status. Senator Veronica Maina, CBS MP, nominated senator, and also reading this as chair of Kenya Women Senators, having been commissioned by the whole of Kenya Women Senators to offer this statement to ensure that the recruits are given an opportunity to return to Keganjo after giving birth. Honorable Speaker, thank you once again for the opportunity to present the statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee for the period between 10th February to 30th April 2026, pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B of the Senate Standing Orders. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B of the Senate Standing Orders to make a statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights for the period commencing 10th February 2026 to 30th April 2026. During the period under review, the committee held a total of 20 sittings, during which considered 1 legislative proposal, 3 bills, 1 petition, and 8 statements and 1 inquiry. The committee also followed up on the implementation of a Senate resolution directed to the committee. Legislative proposals. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered and submitted its comments on 1 legislative proposal, namely the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill 2026, sponsored by Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei, CBS MP. The draft bill seeks to, among others, provide timeline for making of statutory instruments by regulation-making authorities. On the bills, Honorable Speaker, during the reporting period, the committee continued with its consideration of 2 bills to amend the Constitution, namely the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 13 of 2025, and the Constitution of Kenya Amendment number 2 Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 16 of 2025. The committee also commenced consideration of a third bill, namely the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2026, Senate Bills number 7 of 2026. The committee received extensive submissions on the 3 bills, one of which seeks to implement the 2/3 gender principle in Parliament, and the other to bar persons who have served as governors from contesting for election as senators or MCAs immediately upon conclusion of their term. The committee will be retreating soon to consider the said submissions and to adopt its reports thereon for tabling in the Senate. On petitions, Honorable Speaker, having dispensed with all other petitions that were pending before it during the last session, the committee considered one petition by Mr. Laban Omusudi regarding the enactment of a legal framework to provide for citizen-initiated recall of the president and county governors. In addition to meeting with the petitioner, the committee invited and received submissions from key state and non-state actors on the proposals contained in the petition. We are scheduled to consider the submissions, following which the committee will adopt and table its reports in the Senate. On the statements, Honorable Speaker, the committee considered 12 requests for statements during the reporting period, comprising 8 statements which were carried over from the last session, as well as 4 statements which were newly sought from the committee. We have adopted a 2-pronged strategy to finalize on the said statements, entailing both writing to the relevant agencies, inviting them to respond, as well as scheduling meetings with them on a case-by-case basis to deliberate on the issues arising from the statements. On inquiry, Honorable Speaker, the committee continued with its inquiry into the legal status indigenous peoples in Kenyans, into what legal status the indigenous people in Kenya are, and expanded this to cover the status and human rights of minorities and marginalized communities as well. I'm happy to report that we held a productive meeting with the National Gender and Equality Commission, as well as the Minorities and Marginalized Affairs Unit at the Executive Office of the President, where we deliberated on these issues. We have scheduled further meetings in the coming month with the 2 entities, as well as other state and non-state actors, at the end of which we shall prepare our report for tabling and debate in the Senate. On implementation of Senate resolutions, Honorable Speaker, the committee continued with the tracking the implementation of Senate resolutions directed to the committee, including the report of the ad hoc committee on Shakahola, as well as the Senate resolution on the state of the nation. The committee also followed up on the implementation of resolutions contained in reports on petitions. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank your office and that of the clerk for the continuous support accorded to the committee in undertaking its work. I also wish to thank members of the committee for their commitment, diligence in, and insightful contribution during committee activities. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. And our chair of the committee is Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei, and I'm the able vice chair. Honorable Speaker, and just to remind the House, this is the most effective committee of the Senate. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Veronica Minor, that might be a contentious statement. Honorable Senators, just allow me to interrupt the statement for a short while to allow Senator Nyamo to just lay a report on the table of the Senate. Senator Nyamo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today. Report of the Standing Committee on Lands, Environment and Natural Resources on the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025.
Senator.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just to comment on 2 statements. One is Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senators, just hold on, we consult. Yeah. Sincere apologies. It was Senator Mwaruma next.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to go through my statements. I have three. The first one is request for statement on the delayed completion of Mtomagodi, Mbale, Undanyi, Veruga, Mgange, Bura Road in Taita Taveta County. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the status of construction of the 55-kilometer Mtomagodi, Mbale, Undanyi, Veruga, Mgange, Bura Road in Taita Taveta County. Madam Speaker, this project was launched and commissioned on November 1, 2021 at a budgeted cost of 2.2 billion and was intended to serve Bura, Ronge, Mgange wards while linking Undanyi Township to the Mwatate Taveta Highway and Bura Ward and the Voi Mwatate Highway at Mtomagodi. Despite repeated inspection visits by senior government officials, the road remains incomplete. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the current status of the project, including the extent of works completed, sections cleared and gravelled, and those upgraded to bitumen standards. 2, the reasons for the delay in completion of the project, as well as expected completion date of the project. 3, whether the road cuts through private land, and if so, the identity of all affected persons. 4, the measures in place to compensate the persons affected by the project, as well as the timelines for such compensation. The second statement, Madam Speaker, is on the remittance of staff deductions and other payables by the county government of Taita Taveta. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the non-remittance of staff deductions and other payables by the county government of Taita Taveta. Madam Speaker, there has been continued delay and non-remittance of staff payables, including loan repayments to banks and SACCOs, contributions to superannuation institutions, and other contractual deductions due from staff salaries. This has exposed staff of the county government of Taita Taveta to financial penalties, adverse listing by lending institutions, delayed access to benefits, and prolonged uncertainty for the retirees and officers nearing retirement. The continued non-remittance of these obligations, despite deductions having been made from staff salaries, has affected service delivery and caused financial distress among employees of the county government of Taita Taveta. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the number and particulars of the institutions owed staff deductions and other payables by the county government of Taita Taveta, including the annual bill and outstanding amount owed to each institution. 2, the total amount of pending staff payables, including but not limited to salaries, and allowances disaggregated by category and month from 2024 to date, including reasons for the delay or failure by the county government of Taita Taveta to remit staff deductions and other payables to the respective institutions. 3, the measures in place by the county government to settle outstanding staff deductions and payables, including officers and officers nearing retirement. And 4, the administrative or disciplinary action, if any, taken against officers found culpable for negligence, mismanagement, or failure to remit staff deductions and other payables when due. The last one, Madam Speaker, is on employment practices at the Devki Steel Mills manufacturing plant in Taita Taveta County. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the employment practices of the Devki Steel Mills manufacturing plant in Taita Taveta County. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the government's policy or framework on the employment of local residents by private companies in the counties in which they operate, including whether any quota is reserved for the local communities, and secondly, whether Devki Steel Mills plant in Taita Taveta County has complied with that policy. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Senators. Senator Lelegwe, you can read the final statement under Order 53 before we move to Standing Order 56-1.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Request for statement on the status, transparency and disclosure and community benefits of carbon credit projects in Samburu County. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a matter of county-wide concern regarding growing concerns over the secrecy or limited disclosure of community benefits arising from carbon credit and carbon market projects operating within Samburu County and other pastoral regions of Kenya. Madam Speaker, while these projects are expanding under global climate initiatives, local communities, the primary custodians of these lands remain largely uninformed about agreement terms, revenues, and long-term impacts on land rights and livelihoods. Despite providing the resources that attract international financing, there is a troubling lack of public disclosure regarding contractual obligations, entered carbon valuation, and the actual percentage of benefits reaching local communities. This secrecy risks the exploitation of indigenous and pastoral communities, elite capture of climate financing benefits, future land injustices, and exclusion of local communities from decision-making processes affecting their ancestral lands. Madam Speaker, in the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the number, names, implementing entities, ownership structures, and specific geographical location of all carbon credit or carbon trading projects currently operating within Samburu County, including the legal frameworks, duration, and contractual arrangements in respect of each project. 2, the total carbon credits generated and total revenues earned from carbon credit projects in Samburu County since inception, including a detailed breakdown of the actual financial benefits received by the local communities, local communities, community institutions, county governments, intermediaries, implementing agencies, and private entities involved. 3, the measures and procedures used to secure free, prior, and informed consent from pastoral communities before the execution of carbon credit agreements, including whether affected communities were adequately informed and sensitized on the long-term environmental, economic, land use, grazing, and cultural implications of such projects. 4, the reasons for the limited public disclosure and transparency regarding carbon credit agreements, revenue flows, carbon pricing mechanisms, valuation methodologies, and community benefits sharing agreements in Samburu County, despite the projects utilizing community land and ancestral lands. Community and ancestral lands. And 5, the policy, legislative, regulatory, and institutional measures put in place by the government to protect pastoral communities in Samburu County from exploitation, inequitable benefit sharing, and land decision-making, exclusion from decision-making processes within the carbon credit and carbon trading market. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Lelegwe. Now we are moving to statements pursuant to Standing Order 56, 1B. And I want to call the Chairperson, Standing Committee on Energy, Senator Kisang, to make a statement relating to the activities of the committee for the period February to April 2026.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I arise pursuant to Standing Order 56.1b to make a statement on the activities of the Standing Committee on Energy for the first quarter of the 5th session, covering the period commencing 1st January to 30th April 2026. Madam Speaker, during the period under review, the committee held a total of 39 sittings. In this time, it considered and concluded on the ratification of the production sharing contracts and field development plan for blocks T6 and T7 in the South Logichar Basin and commenced an inquiry into the petroleum crisis in the country. Madam Speaker, during the period under review, the committee considered and concluded 4 statements. 8 statements are pending consideration by the committee. Responses on the pending statements have been forwarded to the relevant senators and are awaiting consideration by the committee. 4, the committee examined the petroleum sharing contracts and the field development plan for blocks T6 and T7 in the South Logichar Basin, Turkana County, considered public submissions, engaged key stakeholders, and reviewed technical analysis. It also conducted public participation in Turkana County, West Pokot County, Washingishu County, Trans Nzoia County, Lamu County, and Mombasa County, Madam Speaker, capturing the views of the affected communities and the stakeholders. Arising from this process, the committee recommended the fast tracking of regulations for the Petroleum Revenue Fund, the strengthening of the National Oil Corporation of Kenya, the establishment of permanent security along the transport corridor, and the commissioning of a special Auditor General's report on the early oil scheme of EOPS to inform cost control in full field development plan. The committee met with the Principal Secretary of the State Department for Petroleum and received submissions from various state agencies on the 2026 budget policy statement. The committee also considered proposed policies for 2025-2026 budget implementation status, financial and output performance, capital project status, key policy foundations, performance targets, and project allocations. Madam Speaker, key recommendations by the committee on the 2026 budget policy statement, PBS, is that A, the State Department for Petroleum submits to the Senate a detailed status report on the Logichar-Lamu crude oil pipeline, including the current implementation status and justification for continued or future budgetary allocations. B, the Minister of Energy and Petroleum submits to the Senate a detailed status report on all ongoing energy, public-private partnerships, PPPs, projects, highlighting progress, risk mitigation measures, foreign exchange exposure management, and expected completion timelines. And C, the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Energy and Petroleum should clarify how the proposed sovereign wealth fund policy aligns with Section 57 of the Petroleum Act 2019 and outline the institutional framework for managing petroleum revenues to avoid overlaps and duplications. Madam Speaker, in the previous session, the committee commenced an inquiry into the handing over of a mass cars, cooking cars handling facility to Asharami Energy, focusing on the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum's adherence to legal procedures and engaging the National Treasury on compliance with public-private partnership requirements. 8, the committee also conducted oversight visits in Mombasa County, where it engaged the Kenya Maritime Authority and inspected maritime tanker route to assess oil pollution risk, and in Kisumu County, where it inspected energy and petroleum facilities, reviewed electricity connectivity, noting coverage at 68%, and evaluated progress on street lighting, solar transition, and last-mile electrification. 9, Madam Speaker, in the coming quarter, the committee will conclude its inquiry into the 2015 Kenya pipeline oil spill into River Tange in Makueni County, focusing on environmental and public health impacts, compliance, and remedial and enforcement measures. 10, the committee plans to visit Tana River and Shire County to review power bypass, flooding impacts linked to KenGen, grid and off-grid supply, and preparatory work for the proposed nuclear power plant alignment with national planning. 11, further, the committee will steer preparation for the County Energy Forum expected in the course of this year, including a brief conference with the Senate, Council of Governors, county executives, and the County Assembly's Energy Caucus to align county priorities on devolved energy functions, wayleaves, tariffs, clean energy, and intergovernmental coordination. Madam Speaker, I wish to thank your office for the support accorded to the committee in undertaking its work. I also want to acknowledge the Secretariat that the committee has received from the Office of the Clerk. Lastly, I wish to commend the members of the committee for their commitment, diligence, and dedication to the work and mandate of the committee. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kisang. The next is statement pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B from the Chairperson, Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology, to make a statement relating to the activities of the committee for the period February to April 2026. Senator Cherarike, on behalf of the Chairperson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Quarterly statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology for the period between February to April 2026, pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B of the Senate Standing Orders. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B of the Senate's Standing Orders to make a statement for the first quarter of the 5th session covering activities of the Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology undertaken for the period February to April 2026. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the committee held a total of 15 sittings, which it considered 2 bills, 5 statements, and 1 inquiry. Part A, Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the Electronic Equipment Disposal, Recycling, and Reuse 2025 Senate Bill number 5 of 2025, sponsored by Senator Peris Tobiko, MP, which was published via Kenya Gazette Supplement number 67 of 9 May 2025. The bill was introduced in the Senate by way of first reading in the Senate on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025, and subsequently stood committed to the committee for consideration. Madam Speaker, the committee considered the bill taking into account the views and recommendations of the public, and the report is on the progress of being tabled in the Senate. During the consideration of the bill, the committee observed zero waste principle and the principle of prioritizing the extension of electrical and electronic equipment EEE lifespan over material recovery. These are non-negotiable guiding principles of the national legislation forming the legal basis for the extended producer responsibility system. Honorable Speaker, the committee is currently considering Artificial Intelligence Bill, the 2026 Senate Bill number 4 of 2026, sponsored by Senator Karen Nyamu MP, which was introduced in the Senate by way of first reading on the Senate on Thursday, 2nd April 2026, and thereafter stood committed to the committee for consideration. The bill was advertised, inviting submissions from the stakeholders and the public in 3 newspapers with national circulation. The committee soonest consider submissions received hereon from the public and formulate its report. Madam Speaker, statement.
Wewe wahitaji watatu ili kukamilika. Mimi nahitaji wawili.
Wewe pia? Hivi Pili alikuwa yazungumzia ukweli?
Ule. Uoni?
Na anafanya nini pale na Patel?
Hata nina shaka.
Tusherekee kwa kuja kwa Sitara. My daughter. My daughter.
Wewe ukazichukua ukaenda ukazibadilisha namba na ukaanza kuziuza.
Ndio liibiwa?
Mimi bado ibiwa nduthi.
Kijana yako alikwambia liibiwa na nani?
Ngo yele sikuwa na pen. Na hii pen. Pen. Apiko.
Ndio tukapata wewe anatengeneza number plate, anabadilisha, anauza.
Tembea polepole na mwendo wa haste ukienda nyumbani.
How can pikipiki swim like a fish?
Ilienda kwa mtu ikaenda ikiduguruma tu.
Mzee,
mimi ndio nilisema mvua inyeshe wakati ile uko kwa barabara.
Si wewe ulisema kwani wewe ni Nyasaye, ubenyezao wale mburi.
Bora kusema sitaki, ujipatie salama.
Kwa kila hapana unayosema ujue ni ushindi wa heshima yako, ni mwango wa ndoto zako na ni hatua mbele kwa maisha yako. Asanteni. Vurugu nyumbani, mwadhirika wa uonevu, sababu za maumbile, urithi wa familia huleta ukatili nyumbani.
Je, ni kweli kuwa wanafunzi wote wamepata fursa sawa masomoni?
Shule zote za mjini na vijijini kunapatikana vifaa kama maudhui ya kidijitali yanayotumika na madarasa yote.
Walemavu. Kuna wanafunzi ambao ni walemavu na wanaweza kukosa shule wezeshi zinazoweza kuwapa vifaa na vitu wanavyohitaji.
Taja aina 3 za vyakula vya asili.
Nduma.
Hapo kwa mbali akasikia sauti, nyaruguru, nyaruguru, nyaruguru yo.
Kutumia viziada lugha.
Utumia viziada lugha, nimependa sana hoja yako.
Welcome back to Semana Spokes.
Semana Spokes is the platform where Wananchi engage, query the government, and the government responds. It's your time to be informed. Don't miss Bonga na Gava every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Semana Spokes.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima,
tunaangamiza dhana potovu kuhusu matumizi ya biopesticides.
Na vile Boniface, tuangalie manufaa yanayotokana na kukuza mimea tofauti katika shamba lako.
Dawa za biopesticides ziko na ufanisi mzuri na tena zile zinaitwa zile dawa zile broad spectrum. Utapata kwamba dawa moja inaua huyo diamond blackmoth na tena wadudu wengine wale wote ambao tumezungumzia.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1
kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
Mapenzi upofu, anasema I hate you.